Everyone. So Los Angeles Lakers have a real moment today to put the series away against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Lakers currently lead this series 3-1. They win today. That's it. And today would be massive. And I really hope the Lakers take this seriously. I really hope the Lakers have that sense of urgency. That's been something that we've kind of not had that consistency with, right? At times it just seems like they don't have that energy. And you're going to be playing a Memphis team who is the best home team in the entire league. They're young. They're hungry. They don't want to go out this way. Their backs are going to be against the wall. And they're going to have that urgency and that energy. And the Lakers, they need to match it. They need to show up and show, like, hey, this is a statement. We are here. We are a real team. This isn't a game, right? We are, yes, the 7 seed, but we're not your average 7 seed. We're better than the number 2 seed. We've beaten them both at home. Like, that's what we need. We need that urgency from the Lakers. We need to see the Lakers go and close this series out, because also the rest. You win this game, they get like 5 days to like a week's worth of rest, especially if that Warriors game, Warriors and Kings series, if they go 7 games, which it's looking like that's going to be the case. If that does, then yeah, you're going to get 5, 6, 7 days, and that would be massive. But we need to see a performance from everybody. Austin Reeves has been great. He's been brilliant this series. We really need to see him pick it up. Anthony Davis. We need Anthony Davis to figure it out, right? Don't get me wrong. The Memphis Grizzlies are doing everything they can to contain Anthony Davis on the offensive end. Their strategy is basically pack Anthony Davis and make everyone else beat you. I mean, Desmond Bane told you what the Memphis Grizzlies strategy was before, like after game 1, right? We're going to pack Anthony Davis, keep him from beating us, make somebody else beat us, leave Vanderbilt and Rui wide open. And luckily, Vanderbilt and Rui have made them pay, right? Vanderbilt had 15 points for us, and he had our first 7, right? And he scored something like 10 of our first 12 or something for the Lakers to start that game 4. So we need them to continue to hit shots. We need them to continue to step up. But Anthony Davis has got to figure it out. Yes, he's going up against the Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, he's going up with Tillman. 2 sizable guys that are physical and aggressive. For whatever reason, Triple J can't get a foul to save his life. Like, the guy cannot draw any fouls. And the guy was second in the league in fouls. Look at Karl Anthony Towns, for example. Karl Anthony Towns led the league. Again, Triple J was number 2. Karl Anthony Towns led the league. In the last 2 games of the series, he fouled out. In every game, he had, I believe, 5 fouls. Except for like maybe one. Maybe there was one he didn't. But I know he had 5 fouls in game 3. And then he had 5 fouls here in game 4 and 6 fouls in game 4 and 6 fouls in game 5. Fouled out in both of those games. But all of a sudden, Triple J can't get more than just 2 fouls. It blows my mind. I think part of it is that he's the Defense Player of the Year. They don't want him fouling out every game. That could be a possibility. But regardless, Anthony Davis has to figure it out. Anthony Davis has to fight through it. They are roughing him up. They are being physical with him. There were several moments where were clearly fouls and they didn't call it. And even some fouls that could have been called as a flagrant, right? I mean, Triple J, there was that one play where Anthony Davis is going up. Triple J literally grabs his shoulder and hits him in his neck area and face area. That's above the shoulders, right? That's a review. Even if you don't think it's a technical, go review it and check, right? It's just those type of things are frustrating. And it's going to be worse in Memphis, right? We're going to have to go up against the refs in Memphis because the refs are giving the Memphis Grizzlies the whistle, and they're going to give them the favorable home whistle. Home whistle is a real thing in the NBA, and it's even more apparent in the playoffs. It's not even just the Lakers. I mean, just in general. All season we've been talking about just the refs and not even just with the Lakers, just in the NBA, period. But again, Anthony Davis has to figure out a way. If we get an Anthony Davis that shows up, we're going to win this game. So Anthony Davis is the key. He's got to figure it out. Continuing impacting it on the defensive end. He's been brilliant in that. This has been probably his best defensive series he's had. He's been just remarkable on the defensive side, but we need to see him put together that offense. That would be massive for this Lakers. LeBron James, continue to do LeBron James things. Continue to set the tone, set the pace. Pick and choose his spots, right? Conserve that energy, because I imagine if it's a close game late, we're going to need LeBron James to finish this. We're going to need LeBron James to close this out, as we saw in the most recent game. And so if we can kind of keep him in reserve until the time comes, and by reserve, I don't mean like him sitting on the bench. I mean him just kind of being on the court, playing some defense, setting guys up, getting guys going. But that means guys have to get going, right? It means guys have to knock down shots. It means guys have to step up. If we can have that happen, then LeBron can kind of just be there, kind of coast a little bit. And then if it's a tight game down the stretch, LeBron can turn it on and close that game for us. But LeBron's been brilliant. Even the last game, I mean, he put on an absolute clinic. 20 points, 20 rebounds, 7 assists. Just playing, getting it done on the defensive end. Been brilliant on the offensive end, closing games, just orchestrating and calling the plays and keeping guys involved and together. I mean, he's the coach on the court late down the stretch, right? Like I even had people ask me, like why isn't Darvin Ham like calling plays and stuff? And it's because he has LeBron James. I mean, Darvin Ham's told you before, and he's right. When you have a guy at arguably the smartest NBA player we have ever seen with the IQ. I mean, we've seen the videos of him breaking down plays, and we've heard players come out and be like, dude, he is ridiculous. He knows everything that they're going to do before they do it. I've heard the stories about LeBron telling the other team, oh, you're in the wrong spot. You're supposed to be here, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff, right? We've heard it all. You let LeBron orchestrate and close that game. We saw the game in, game 3, when Darvin Ham just LeBron sat down and said, give me the clipboard, and Darvin Ham gave him the clipboard. LeBron drew up a play, and it led to a bucket. That's because you have LeBron James. You utilize him. You allow him to figure it out, because he's the one playing the game. He's the one in real time watching everything unfold, right? He's seeing things that no one else is seeing, and that's massive. I mean, there's a reason he's likely never had like a Greg Popovich or something like that. It's hard when you're just smart as he is when it comes to the game of basketball. There's not very many people that are like him, if ever. So you allow him to close and execute down the stretch. You allow him to make the decisions and make the plays. We've seen that happen, and I expect us to continue to see that happen. I mean, he has more experience than anybody. He has more experience than the entire Memphis Grizzlies team combined. That's insane. Trust your guy. But again, Dilo, hopefully, this was the awakening of Dilo. Dilo saved the Lakers' playoffs. Literally, saved it. We had no answer for Memphis Grizzlies on that stretch. Memphis looked like they were pulling away. We were struggling to score. We couldn't really stop them down that stretch. It looked like we were starting to get a little deflated there, and Memphis was getting all the momentum, everything. And then Dilo came in and saved the day, hitting back-to-back-to-back three-pointers. I mean, it was massive. We went from down 7 to all of a sudden we're up 2, and it's just this, it just completely changed the game. You saw Memphis starting to get a little deflated. Lakers were able to turn around, force overtime, and then got it done in overtime. I'm really hoping that little stretch was the beginning of Dilo. I really believe Dilo would have scored 30+ if he didn't get into foul trouble. So he started off that game slow. Yes, but he also got into foul trouble. So how much of that impacted his play? But he came into the start of the third quarter, and he was there, and he scored 6 straight points for the Lakers. He was getting everything he wanted, hadn't missed from the field, and then ended up picking up another foul. So he had to come out and sit again. Then he comes back, right? And when he comes back, he has that performance where he goes and drops, 3 straight threes and just looked like he was taking over again. And then he gets in another foul against Baines, and which was just like such a tic-tac. I don't mind refs being one way or the other. If you want to call the tic-tacs, fine, call the tic-tacs. But it's got to be both ways. If you want to just let guys play, fine, let guys play. But it has to be both ways. It can't be like, oh, well, Triple J is going to get a different whistle than everybody else. Right? I mean, even like the Dennis Schroeder thing. Right? Triple J hit Dennis Schroeder in the nuts, and they said it was above the waist. So unless Dennis Schroeder is like, packing to his neck and he has it, tucked into his waistband, then I don't know how else. I don't know where else you hit somebody like that. It made no sense. And I'm not saying you eject him. I'm not saying, you give him flagrant 2, but it should have been a technical. He hit him clearly right in the jewels. And again, unless he had it tucked into his waistband up to his neck, that should have been called. But that's neither here nor there. My point is just be consistent. That's all I care about, right? But Dilo ends up getting into foul trouble, and if he didn't get into foul trouble, I really think he would have continued to win off. I think he would have continued to play just great because he seemed to have it going. And I'm hoping that that's kind of the beginning, and it's like, okay, now he's kicking it in. Now he's getting it together. So we need him. If he can be our third best player, that's going to be huge for us. That's the whole point of us getting him, right? He was supposed to be the third guy on most nights, maybe even the second guy. And we need him to play as such. I'm not saying he has to go and give us 30. The game he gave us, the last game, was perfect. Gave us 17 points, gave us like 7 assists, couple rebounds, shot like 47% from the field. Perfect. What was it, 36, 37% from three? I'm okay with that. Give me that. Give me that, Dilo. Game in and game out for the playoffs. Consistency is key for him. But I also think it's finding those efficient shots. Efficiency, right? Like, he was taking good shots. Like, those threes were open threes. He was being more aggressive, attacking the rim, getting to the mid-range. All of those things, it really opens up for Dilo. So I need him to pick his spots, and I think he'll be fine. But just everyone in general, right? We need guys to pick it up. Dennis Schroeder was great. He had some great moments, but he had some really bad moments. Those turnovers down the stretch in OT, man, it felt like he was trying to sell, right? It felt like he was selling that game. We need him to be better with the ball. We need him to just give us little punches, right? Again, don't need 20, 30 points from him. Just come in, give us 12 points. That's fine. Just play some solid defense, give us a couple buckets. Rui Hachimura, he had a rough shooting night, but I can't really get on him. We wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for him. He's been fantastic this entire playoff series, and even though he struggled to shoot the ball, he hit a huge three when it counted, and was playing great defensively. He was doing great things. Need him to continue that. Need to continue that level of play. Again, if you get Schroeder, Dilo, Rui, Reeves, you get maybe a little bit from Troy Brown, a little bit from Beasley. Even if all of them collectively just get you, on average, 10 points a game, then there's 60, 70 points between all of them. And then AD and LeBron can go get you the other, 50 points. There you go. You got 120 points per game. You're going to win those games, right? So that's what we need. We need the consistency. That's a huge thing. We need the urgency. Lakers have an absolute great opportunity here to put this series away. Now, I wouldn't bet the farm on it, not because I don't think the Lakers can beat them. I absolutely do. I believe in this Lakers team fully. And you got to win these type of games if you want to win an NBA championship, right? This would be a great statement game, great statement win. Would just really build confidence going into the rest of the playoffs. But Memphis is still the best home team in the league. They're still the 2 seed for a reason. They're a top defense, and they've given Lakers fits in some degrees, right? Lakers are clearly the better team. It's been abundantly obvious, right? And I expect them to continue to be the better team. This team just feels like they are really good, and they're only going to get better, and they're only going to continue to get better because they're going to figure this out more and more the longer this series or the playoffs go on, right? Second round, they'll probably be a little better. If we get to the Western Conference Finals, by that point, we might be looking at the best team in the league because they have the talent, they have the offense, they have the defense. I mean, this team is insane defensively. This team is so good defensively. It is ridiculous. When they're locked in and focused, you can't score on these guys. They are that good. So the Lakers are in the position. The Lakers hold the cards. They are in the driver's seat, 3-1. They have a 95% chance of winning the series. Only 12 teams have came back in the history. The Lakers are in a good position. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis who are good enough to win you a game by themselves. But ideally, you don't want to go back to LA. Ideally, you want this to be done as soon as possible. Get that rest. Make that statement to the rest of the league. Put everyone on notice if they're not already. This is a real moment, real opportunity. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Think they get it done? Think they win? Do you think they don't? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.